Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to Warships for our Friday highlight video this week, which is featuring the Tier VII German Battleship, Battlecruiser, the Scharnhorst 43. She's a premium ship in the game that was made available in the Holidays in Santa Cities event back in December. She was a reward for the 10th stage. And so there's a few differences compared to her copy, the Scharnhorst, which Scharnhorst 43 comes from, but there's just a few differences, some things that Wargaming done, I would say, to make Scharnhorst 43 a little bit more oriented towards brawling, where Scharnhorst can definitely brawl, but can perhaps do the mid-range battle a little bit better than the Scharnhorst 43. So we're going to get into that. But we're going to featuring this video, I want to show you the strengths, like what Scharnhorst 43 is really capable of. I think I have to talk about this. With Scharnhorst 43, she was a free ship in the game, as I'm going to put some audio on the battle here. She was free ship in the game, and so a lot of players in the game were able to pick up Scharnhorst 43. And I think as a result of that, Scharnhorst 43 actually has a little bit of a bad reputation in the game. And I think my theory, my observation would be on that is because you have a lot of players who have Scharnhorst 43, but they don't actually know how to play Scharnhorst 43. And the fact that, you know, brawling was a lot more, you saw a lot more of that in the game back 10.0 and earlier, where now brawling is becoming less and less and less of a thing as more powerful aircraft carriers come into the game, more hybrid ships come into the game, more submarines come into the game. So it's just not the same, I would say, as back in the day, 10.0, before the commander rework, where brawling was a little bit more fun. So, and I'm not trying to be rude to the players. I'm not saying all players are bad in Scharnhorst 43, but you see a lot of players in the Scharnhorst 43 who just don't really seem to know quite what they're doing in the game. So I hope in doing this battle, it kind of helps showcase the ship a bit more. Now, one of the things that Scharnhorst 43 is some of the differences. You know, I don't know if I want to get into a contrast comparison of what does Scharnhorst 43 have over just Scharnhorst. But I think there's going to be some things that we're just probably going to hit on, and naturally that will come up anyhow. And just a surface view before we get into the nitty-gritty, on Scharnhorst, you would get a spotter plane. Scharnhorst 43, you don't get a spotter plane, you only get the fighter. But one of the things we pick up here, as we get the first blood on the Miyoko, is that we get the engine boost. So Scharnhorst 43, this isn't just a plus 8% engine boost, it is a plus 15% engine boost. And if you even take the engine boost mod 1 in the second slot, you can have an action time of over 234 seconds on the engine here with Scharnhorst 43. And having that engine boost enables you to get around the map much quicker. So, you know, and you're playing Tier 7s, right? So we decide to, hey, let's go ahead and run up over to C because we can cap it and then we can hook into Bravo. So that's kind of one of the strategies that you, as a battleship, battlecruiser, especially when you're playing ranked plane randoms, you can get in early positionings compared to other battleships, battlecruisers at Tier 7 here in the game. As you may have noticed a similarity in the kill feed here, Forgotten Void, he is a fellow clanmate. He has a YouTube channel as well, Operations with the Void, does a great job. If you like ops, check him out. But we were trying to sync drop, so we'd be on the same team as he's in West Virginia 44. And matchmaking was just not having it for us tonight. We kept getting in opposing teams. I think only once or twice out of, like, let's say the 7-8 battles we played, did we land on the same team. So yeah, so we we were paying close attention to one another, let's put it lightly. So now that we've picked up the solo cap at C, we are going to push in on the enemy Legato. Now what Scharnhorst 43, depending on how you look at it, Scharnhorst 43 does better in close quarters combat than Scharnhorst, where Scharnhorst does better in the mid-range engagement than what Scharnhorst 43 does. Scharnhorst 43 shines best when you are playing close quarters combat, being within your secondary range of 9.5 kilometers and under. Otherwise, if you're playing the mid to long range game in Scharnhorst 43, she's actually much more frustrating to play, in my opinion, than regular Scharnhorst. So there's certain maps like Tears of the Desert in ranked that I just find very frustrating to play Scharnhorst 43 on versus Scharnhorst. And that's due for how the ships play just slightly different from one another. So one of the things here is Scharnhorst 43 actually has slightly better dispersion horizontally and vertically than Scharnhorst. Barely. It's just a very minute difference. However, Scharnhorst has a 20-second reload time where Scharnhorst 43, let me just say the 43, has a 23-second reload time. So slightly longer reload time. And then we start talking about the armor-piercing shells. Scharnhorst 43 has the standard fuse time of his, let's see, let me pull it up here so I don't say it wrong, 0.033 seconds, where normal Scharnhorst has a short fuse timer, where the AP shells will arm much quicker, being a 0.010 seconds. So that's the fuse timer, as in once it makes contact with an armor on an enemy ship, the shell will explode within the ship, right? And that actually is a huge difference. In Scharnhorst 43, you will regularly find yourself over-penetrating cruisers. Tier 6, Tier 7, even Tier 5 cruisers. You're just going to regularly overpin, as we're setting up here to take out Void. But with his big guns, he can slap us really big there. But we do get rid of him. We must protect our teammates from the wrath of the Void. But having that shorter fuse time on normal Scharnhorst over Scharnhorst 43 makes the main battery, in my opinion, I think just better on Scharnhorst than on Scharnhorst 43. It's just, even battleships, you're overpinned them, and like, why did I overpenetrate this battleship, right? So that's just something that Scharnhorst, as we're going up against here, you will get much more penetrations with Scharnhorst than with Scharnhorst 43, where you're just going to be getting a lot of overpenetrations, which makes playing Scharnhorst 43 is a, so to speak, a mid-range or long-range battleship really infuriating to play, where Scharnhorst does much better in that, in addition that she also has the spotter plane consumable. But what the Scharnhorst doesn't quite have, that Scharnhorst 43 has, is that she, in my opinion, plays much better in the close quarters brawling combat. Now, this is a few reasons in between her secondaries and then also the torpedoes. So your torpedoes have, without Adrenaline Rush kicking in, a 45-second reload time on the torpedoes. So that means you could dump torpedoes off your starboard side and then turn to try to get your torpedoes off your port side. And then by the time you bring your starboard side back to get your torpedoes off, you already have your torpedoes reloaded on the starboard side. So I've actually done that a few times. You know, if I'm charging towards the ship, dump torps off the right, then dump torps off on the left, and then if I slide past the enemy ship, let's say some of my torpedoes missed, then my right side torpedoes are already ready to go, and I can drop them in behind me as I pass the enemy ship. So you feel a little bit more, I feel more confident in the close quarters combat with Scharnhorst 43 over normal Scharnhorst. Now also, I would say because of the engine boost, you're a little bit more, with having that 15%, you close the distance much sooner. You can disengage if you need to be kiting away, as we're trying to get down here and support our Nagato from the enemy Scharnhorst 43. And you can kind of drift to avoid torpedoes when you're pushing on enemy ships, as an example. So there's just several things that in general I dislike overall with Scharnhorst 43, a little bit better than the Scharnhorst. But each ship is quite good, and I really like playing them both in ranked and randoms battles. So in this video, I really want to show you the strengths as we pick up the high caliber of just what you can accomplish here with the Scharnhorst 43. Another thing is we're dealing with a submarine this game. So when we talk about let me find it here, there's so many options on the screen. The ASW, we have a range of 9 kilometers. So it's quite nice in having that here over other ships that have a lower, shorter range, as an example. So we're going to be using a ton of ASW airstrikes against that enemy sub, as we're going to be fishing for him, so on and so forth, as now it's down to a 2v2 match. So we did take out the Scharnhorst 43. Unfortunately, we lost our friendly ally in the battleship. So now we have the points lead. We're holding on to Bravo. Nelson's playing quite a strong defensive position there, but he has to be careful not to eat a bunch of torpedoes in the face from the enemy sub. So what we're going to do is we're going to move up a bit closer here. We're going to pop our fighter plane. Having the fighter plane means, you know, we have a shorter cooldown time so we can see over the island. So there we pick up the Scharnhorst 43. Maybe Nelson was proxy spotting him. I'm not entirely sure. Now he goes dark just as our plane goes down. So Nelson's going to have to back off a little bit here. But what I want to set up and do here is be in a kiting position against the enemy Scharnhorst. In general, when you're in a brawling battleship and you're going up against another brawling battleship, as an example, you always hold the advantage if you're the one who's kiting over the one pushing, right? It's easier to get all 9 of your 283mm guns on target, as an example. You can be the one to choose to engage or disengage, where the enemy battleship, like the Scharnhorst, he either has to push in or he has to slowly reverse away, right? But we have a bit of a challenge here because we have to pay attention to the submarine here. So you get to see the ASW in action here on Scharnhorst 43. Another reason why I really like to pick this particular battle replay and featuring it. But you're going to see us dropping ASWs back and forth. So we're kind of aiming low underneath the forward main battery turrets. I'm hoping we get some decent penetrations there. We do get some overpins through the bow, quite natural. Possibly on a normal Scharnhorst, you wouldn't have overpinned there on the bow, having that shorter fuse time. The other two things that these ships hold different is their secondaries have a little bit of different thing going here. So your overall DPM, if you fully build into the secondaries on Scharnhorst 43, would be 540,000, where on normal Scharnhorst it's actually 542,000, and that's just due to having a slightly different secondary arrangement on particularly when on Scharnhorst 43 we have 4x1 150mm guns, where on Scharnhorst, or maybe I looked in the wrong spot. Yeah, we have, no, I think I looked in the wrong spot, because there's like several different categories of the secondaries arrangement here. Let's see if, yeah, I got that slightly wrong, excuse me. So we have 7x2 105s on Scharnhorst 43, 4x1 150, and 4x2 150 as well. And that's the same setup that you see with the secondaries here, but they have different reload times. On Scharnhorst 43, as an example, our 7x2 105s reload 2.67 seconds. We're on Scharnhorst, they reload 2.86 seconds. So basically, overall with the secondaries, when you go down and compare them side by side, you just have faster reloading secondaries with Scharnhorst 43 over the normal Scharnhorst. So there's not these massive differences between Scharnhorst 43 and Scharnhorst. It's the fuse time of the 283mm guns, short fuse time versus standard fuse time, a 23-second reload time on Scharnhorst 43 versus a 20-second on normal Scharnhorst. The range of both the ships, Scharnhorst 43 has 18.87 kilometers, where Scharnhorst has 19.87. So it's just, Scharnhorst 43, as Jingle says, truly is built to brawl. It's built to be a more closer combat. Now, I can't even remember, because I actually had to do a redo once or twice on this video because I mixed up my commentary in the beginning. But it's Scharnhorst 43. It's the only video I've ever had featured by Jingles. It was my first impressions, and we had a killer game, and Jingles featured me on his channel as we pick up the Kraken Unleashed and killing the submarine. As we saw, I think he was reversing back into B, so I dropped him in behind the pings. But we got featured by Jingles. And in that video, he talks about the built for brawl. So you can check him out on that, and I'll throw that same video of my commentary at the end of this and seeing the first impressions. So now what we're doing here as we come back in is that we're going to just kind of sit further out from the enemy Scharnhorst. We wanted to increase the gap between us and the submarine, because you saw all the torpedoes he was firing at us as we burned through all of our engine boost. You know, that was another nice thing to have there with the engine boost. We could get away, maneuver ourselves a little bit better to avoid the torpedoes, where we're going to be going a little bit slower in just regular Scharnhorst overall. So we're trying to see if we can get some fires going on here, because me and the Scharnhorst end up trading a lot of damage with each other. Nelson is still sitting there, and I'm hoping that Nelson actually has armor piercing loaded with his guns, because he can do some massive damage to the enemy Scharnhorst if he has AP loaded. But we'll have to see. A lot of Nelsons just typically run high explosive because it's pretty good, but with the larger caliber of Nelson, you should definitely not sleep on the armor piercing. So we've got our last repair party going here. And here I could switch after I fire this next turret to the armor piercing, which we do. Okay, I'm glad to see that. We do finally get our fire set. We don't have a massive fire starting chance with these high explosive shells, just 20%. There's other Tier 7 battleships that do a lot higher. But this Scharnhorst is not going down without a fight. He lands all of his torpedoes on the enemy Nelson. He's lining up the broadside here. I'm trying to get my 6th kill. See, can I kill the whole enemy team? And no, just over 300. He gets set on fire, and Nelson takes him out as the fire finishes him here. So Scharnhorst 43, this really great brawling battleship for ranked, but she's extremely frustrating in play if you find yourself playing mid-range, you know, outside that secondary range of 9.5. Let's say you try to start playing 10 to 15 kilometers with Scharnhorst 43. It's just going to be a lot more infuriating to play versus the standard Scharnhorst. So we pick up the Fireproof Dreadnought Kraken First Blood High Caliber, 161,000 damage in a 6v6 ranked, with the 5 kills, some defended ribbons, a solo cap, assisted cap, a 224 secondary hits as well. So just overall, really good game, and I like the ability to brawl, as that's what Scharnhorst 43 does best. 2,478 base XP. Overall, Void doing good as well, and taking out 3 of our enemy ships. So it was kind of funny us going back and forth, consistently fighting each other in ranked. He would win, I would lose. I would win, he would lose. Yeah, so on and so forth. So then here in the damage received, 84,000. You can see main battery 98, secondaries 35,000, fires 21,000. Airstrike, we just did 1,400 damage. So we fired a lot of ASW airstrikes on the enemy sub, but we were not too lucky until the very end there with that. And then you see example of what it looks like with premium accounts. So Scharnhorst 43, very fun battleship. Best played and practiced within the close quarters combat of 9.5 and under. So and I think Scharnhorst 43 is a little bit more difficult to play in randoms than ranked, because a lot more people aren't so apt to push in right at the start of the battle. So then you're kind of waiting it out with Scharnhorst 43 per se, unless you can flank or you find a good opening. But you kind of tend to wait for some of the enemy team players to die, maybe the midway through the battle, and then you can push in and shine in the Scharnhorst 43. So that's the only thing I would note in the difference there between randoms and ranked. In ranked, you can usually just kind of jump both feet in, so to speak, as long as you're aware of the map awareness and what's happening on positioning of the enemy team ships. So that being said, we're going to wrap this video up. Tomorrow I'll do an upgrade commander build video here with the Scharnhorst 43. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you did not, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you haven't subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. And until next time, take care.